What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Second Avenue Podcast. I'm your host, Jonathon and Elijah.
I'm your other host, Elijah Venencia. Let's kick it off with some breaking news to you. I'm up to date on my fantasy football, so this will be our weekly fantasy football update. But J.K. Dobbins, he is out 4 to 6 weeks. See, I knew that. I'm a good owner. I keep up to date. I found out this news 2 days ago, while Jonathan is just finding it out. So
That was news to me. Yeah, I know we've been updating you guys on how the seasons are, been going for us throughout all our different leagues. And I remember I checked my lineup and I saw J.K. Dobbins was projected 0 points. I was like, oh, he must have got hurt last week because I was looking back at my scoreboard last week so I could talk about my matchup. I did win, but he only had 1.5 points. I was like, damn, he just sucks. And then I remembered he was projected zero. So like, oh shit, maybe he got hurt. So he did get hurt out for a minute. Tough to see.
yeah,
Not looking good for me.
he's on my other team, my fantasy team, but he wasn't obviously a starter. I scooped up Kenneth Walker. I'm expecting big things from him, and then Damian Pierce as well. That's the workhorse. They were given like a description. You know how they do like the projection
Mm-hmm.
descriptions. They call Damian Pierce an every down bully, and I just love that.
Ooh, that's
That
hard. I
is
like that.
yeah, that
I
is
like
tough.
that. Yeah, my running back situation I thought was pretty bad in this league. And then it kind of just got worse because it's Jonathan Taylor who shouldn't be a problem, but he kind of is.
Yeah,
Then
so
James Robinson, the ISU GOAT. So as long as he shows up for me, that's fine. And then I had JK. And then, I just took a chance. Obviously, blockbuster trade happening here with Christian McCaffrey going to the 49ers. So I scooped out both of the potential number one backs
Chuba,
now. Yep.
Chuba and
Chuba
Deontay.
Hubbard and yeah.
They're
Um,
running it's running back by committee. I saw. I
that's
don't
not
trust
good for
either.
fantasy.
They
Yeah, it's
they
bad for
were
fantasy.
both they were both like really good in college though. Like Deontay Foreman, he was a dog at Texas. Chuba Hubbard was he was an animal at Oklahoma State. Like he was a very good Heisman candidate. So I mean,
Yeah,
potential's there.
there's potential. So I was like, we're gonna scoop both of them. Hopefully one of them pops off. But then I saw some stat on Twitter today, and it was like for all the people that picked up the Panthers running backs, they've had like it was astonishing. Like I think like 3 snaps within the 5 yard line all season or something like that.
Yeah, no, the Panthers are that's a dumpster fire there, and yeah, that I don't know.
We'll see. But how your team performed last week? What's your record
So
looking like?
I'm 4-2 in my main league, the money league we'll call it. That's what they have it named with HTMT. That
Shout out
so
HTMT.
yeah, if you know, you know. And then for the other league, I'm at 3-3. I took a hard loss. I was projected to win the whole week, and I just didn't end up winning. So it was very tough. And there are like 5 teams that are 3-3. So I mean, the points for it is for me. I like I'm like 3 points away from being the highest scorer in the league. So I mean, I have that factored in. But I mean, this is a huge week with like so many. There's like literally 5 teams that are 3-3, and then there's some that are 2-4. Like there's not like one win teams in this league. Like there's a six and
Mm-hmm.
O team, and then there's everybody else is 3-3. So
Yeah.
I'm playing the undefeated Kevin Ron this week. We'll see what happens. I'm obviously pretty optimistic. So
Yeah. I have faith. I am one of those 3-3 teams as well, playing a 4-2 team, but I'm projected to win. I mean, I'm a big projection whore. I love the numbers. When the numbers are in my favor, I like it, although the numbers have lied quite a few times this season. I've been looking good. Jonathan Taylor's projected 18 points, whatever, and he gets, 12 or whatever. So 8. So we'll see. But especially with, a lot of uncertainties on my team, a lot of injuries, we'll see. I'm pretty happy being at 3-3 because it could be a lot worse. There was one week I did really bad. Last week barely pulled out the win, so happy where I'm at. My other leagues, I'm at 2-4 in both of those, so not a great season for me.
yeah, I mean, like I've already emphasized, the 3-3. Like this will just be a big step ahead. But this other league, I'm projected to win as well. I'm playing the worst team in the league, 4-2. I feel like at 5-2, you are riding high. I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
can't ask for a better record there. I mean, obviously 7-0, but that's kind of unrealistic in fantasy football with all the bye weeks, injuries, stuff like that. So
Oh yeah. Kind of tough, kind of unpredictable, but just a good time. All right, one more thing before we get on to the topic of today's episode. Just want to talk quick. I don't know if you've seen this. There's a new feature on Spotify where it makes you a new playlist that updates every couple of hours, 2 or 3 hours, and it has a new title, a new batch of songs, and a whole bunch of subgenres to fill it in. It's really cool. For example, right now, mine is called Poetic Chipmunk Soul Evening, and it has like Brent Fayez, Kanye, Kendrick, stuff like that. And then it shows all the subgenres that make it up, and it's poetic, hip hop, chipmunk soul, Toronto, poetic, alternative R&B, and trap soul, stuff like that. Anyway, really cool, and it's like not out for the main public. I just like happened to, I was looking up Spotify Wrapped on Reddit just to see like when the last date was, because I think it's been October 31st a lot of years, but I thought 1 year maybe it was later. So I just wanted to see, I got to get my hours and make sure my numbers are looking good, make sure my artists are looking good. But yeah, then I just saw the top post or whatever on the day was this new playlist, and it's not out for the public yet. So you had to click that guy's link and then you can get it. But I've been sending to people that are on Spotify to get them on it. But last week, I know we mentioned we had to record the episode early because we had some stuff going on. I had the Illinois State homecoming, tailgates, football game. Didn't go to the football game, but that's part of the whole festivities, I guess. Anyway, me, I had to be on the aux for a while at least. I hate being on aux the whole time, so I had to roam around a little bit. Don't want to leave my phone. Don't want to do any of that. So anyway, made the playlist. So then whoever was on the aux, like, just play the playlist. Anyway, I got my new Spotify playlist today, updated, and it's based on your habits from that previous week. And mine was called Hectic Sorority Saturday Morning. And that just made so much sense
That's
because
perfect.
it was perfect. It was definitely hectic. It was a shared playlist. So there was, some picks that, might tailor to the sorority sounds. But hectic was perfect because it was going from Jonas Brothers to Tyler the Creator to Travis Scott to Lizzo
Wherever,
to
yeah.
Harry Styles. Yeah, it was hectic to say the least, but it was a pretty good playlist. I was pretty happy with this time.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you can't ask for a better description of. I mean, that's like the perfect description for the event you were in. So,
And like one of the little like tags was like pregame, and I was like, I don't know if they're talking basketball, or if they're talking drinking, but either way, that vibe, I'm with that.
definitely. I mean, I'm super excited to get into your Spotify Wrap, my Apple Music replay. So,
Ooh,
obviously, that was
I'm so ready.
the lesser of the subject there, but I'm super excited to get into that. So,
Well, I think it's typically like around December 1st, so December's gonna be a banger. We've been saying that, but stay tuned because it's gonna be
yeah,
our best month yet. I'm 100%
your
confident
boy's
in that.
turning 21, so I mean, you can't beat that first alcohol beverage. Come on now.
I'm excited to see what you think. It's gonna be a big month, so stay tuned. But I'm also excited for today's episode. But I think it's time to get into it. We did this episode a while back. We did the album artwork tier list, and I think you guys really liked it. I really liked making it. So we're back with a part two, 20 new albums, some new, some old, but new to this tier list. And we're gonna throw them on the tier list, S through D. See what we think's good, see what we think's bad, and see what we think's just all right.
Definitely. I'm super excited to get into this just because we have been teasing this literally. Like, it's been brought up multiple times. Like, I don't know, maybe just between personal conversation or, I mean, even in episodes. I know we drop it sometimes. Like, this is going to be a contender for that. So, I'm super excited to get into this.
Oh yeah. Anytime an album's announced and the cover comes out, if it's really good or maybe not so good, we sent it to each other on Twitter and we're like, yep, this is gonna be in part two. So I'm ready to see what our thoughts are because we kind of save our thoughts. We just kind of say, okay, this is gonna be featured, but that's that. So all right, let's get into the first one. It is Daytona by Pusha T.
I absolutely love this cover. The backstory behind it, Kanye going out and like essentially forcing Pusha T to use this as the album cover. I don't know. I just like the Whitney Houston influence. Obviously, kind of fits what Pusha T does with his bars.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I really enjoy this cover. I think it fits him perfectly. And then like the craziest part about this still that still just kind of shocks me is the pictures from 2006. Like this looks like straight out of like an 80s movie. Like
Mm-hmm.
this, yeah. I mean, if you
It
know, you
does have
know.
that old feel to it. It's so chaotic. That's what word I would use to describe it. It's just chaotic. There's like the way the picture is like textured almost. It looks aged. I don't know. It's so interesting. And there's obviously so much stuff just scattered on the sink. A lot of,
And
whatever.
my so like Pusha T, he's talked about it or whatever. My favorite thing is like you were saying, it's chaotic, but Whitney Houston or the Attic at the time, they know exactly where everything is. Like that is, that was like a very
Oh
good
yeah.
description that gave of it. So
I don't know what letter I'd be feeling for this. I think I'd be feeling an A.
yeah, I'm all right with having it an A. I don't think it's quite an S tier, but I think the story behind it boosts it a lot. And then along with it fitting Pusha T perfectly. Like if another rapper's doing this, yeah, I mean it's probably B, C tier.
I agree. Like it was close to a B for me, even with it being push, just because I think there's pictures and covers and artwork that I like better. But I do enjoy this, and I really agree with what you're saying about how it does fit push. So I'm cool with it being A. All right, next one. How do you get a Brockhampton one in here? Last time we did Roadrunner, but gotta take it back to Saturation Trilogy. We're going with Saturation 3. What would you rate this cover?
This is my least favorite out of the saturations. I like it. I mean, it's not a bad cover or anything. Um, I just like how it was a little more white walled with the other two, whereas this one you have the yellow shirt up front. And obviously blue face is like very prevalent in this one. With that being said, I don't think it's a bad cover. I just don't think it's anything too crazy. I put it a B.
Okay, that's what I was feeling too. I really like this cover though. Obviously the tear on the face is super cool. I like the type that they used, and I like the way that they have the explicit lyrics thing. It's like a different one than the traditional, nice and small. The jumpsuit looks really good. I know they were wearing those a lot when I saw them in concert. They were wearing the
Yeah,
jumpsuits. That was just a big thing that they were doing. And I remember when they dropped this cover, they had a cover for every member of the group, kind of like they did with
yeah,
Roadrunner. But I kind of like the teardrop and stuff for every member better than the Roadrunner, like because Roadrunner was cool and whatever. But something about this cover I really do like, but like it at the level of B, not like S. Like I do like it though.
yeah. I like it. I think like a mirror is like the perfect cover for all of them. Perfect member to choose from there for every single one.
I agree. Obviously, Kevin like is kind of the leader, but something about a mirror, like he just it made sense. Like I liked it. I still like it now. All right, next one. We have The House is Burning by Isaiah Rashad.
I didn't know exactly like what I wanted to choose with these. I feel like a good rule of thumb for me was I just kind of shuffle through some songs, and then I this one came up, and I feel like it's really interesting, super simple, but I mean it. The house is burning. It obviously gets the point across. It's colored in, it's super simple. I really enjoy it. I'd give it a B tier,
Yeah, I'd be fine with a B.
lower
It's
B. I
interesting.
mean,
Lower B, I agree. I think it's cool. It's very unique. You don't really see anything too much like this. My just like small nitpicky details with it though are like the way Isaiah Rashad's name is like colored in. I think it's kind of hard to read for some of the letters, and
yeah, it
even
is.
like
It is
some
small.
of the stuff with the picture, I think are a little bit, probably intentionally so, but a little bit hard to decipher. Obviously, the house is very
The house is
obvious
burning.
and very noticeable. It is burning. It looks good. I like the crayon effect, but yeah,
It's
I'm cool
pretty
with a B.
unique.
Definitely unique. All right. The next cover we have is Baby on Baby 2 by DaBaby.
This shit was ass. I mean, to me, like, what is that? A fucking like gremlin? I don't know. I don't
He's
know
a
what he was
different
trying to do there.
monster.
And the initial Baby on Baby album cover is so fucking iconic. You're the little, whatever.
The pose is iconic.
Yeah. And you fumble this hard. What's he got on? Is he a fucking Ninja Turtle?
Kind of looks like a snapping turtle, maybe. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, maybe. I don't know. I'm so confused by it.
Is it a
I
Grinch?
will be honest. I've only listened to like 3 songs on the album, but I don't even think that it like fits the vibe.
I like what fits the vibe of that though. Like that is an
I don't
awful album
know.
cover. I don't think you're
Yeah,
gonna find any music out there that is gonna fit that vibe unless we're talking about the fucking Grinch.
I would think like something maybe like a Savage Mode 2, kinda. Like that's like the
Uh
closest album that I instantly think of that I would be like, or sorry, not Savage Mode 2, Without Warning. Like
Okay.
because of the Halloween
Yes.
drop and stuff like that. But that is like the only thing that I'm like,
I
I could see it. Like it would be the best, but I'd be like, I could see why you do
I
it.
don't even think of like
This
a
one, I
Halloween
really don't know.
costume. I don't
I
know.
think of a Halloween costume as a thing, but like the album didn't drop on
Near
Halloween
Halloween.
or
Yeah, it
yeah,
was
so
a month prior at least.
it's interesting, but not in a good way.
No, yeah, this is F.
I think we're going to D, but we'll say F.
We need an F tier one. I think this is worthy.
Okay. All right. Next one. Chaos Now by Gene Dawson. New album. One of my artists that I was very high on at the start of the year that I thought was going to blow up this year. Dropped a really good album with a cover that I really do love. What are your thoughts on this cover?
I like it. I love the Pixel Bath one. Even like before, I remember I can't remember where I had seen it initially. It was during quarantine, obviously, or around that time, 2020. And
Mhm.
he's got like just a football helmet on. And, I played football all the time. It's one of the nicer helmets. He's got like a colored visor with it. So I mean, I really enjoyed that one. And then I feel like he followed it up well with this. I mean, it's pretty simple here, but also unique as well.
It
I'm
is simple, but like just the way that the colors of the sky and the grass
Yeah, I love that
contrast so
grass.
well against the kid. Yeah, the grass is good, obviously. And then you got the jeans and the guitar. It's cool. I really like the colors. Like that's what it is. If it was different, vibe with the same setup, it might not be as good, but the way it's set up is perfect. I think I'd probably put it A or B.
I'd have it. I'd have it A, low A.
Okay, I
Potentially
like
could
that.
potentially could get bumped down throughout this, but
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, I'm glad my boy Gene got some respect here. Next one, 1999 by Joey Badass. Iconic. What do you think?
I feel like the obviously iconic project, everything. I don't. This is like a tough one to rank. I just don't know where I'd put it. It's super simple. Obviously, the 1999 just huge across the top skateboard. Yeah, the skateboards kind of brings it in with the survivor's guilt when he's talking about it on there.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go A.
A, okay.
I'd go
I
A.
was
I'd
B
go
or
A
A.
or
I
B.
would B or A.
Let's put it at B.
Okay, I think that's fair. I think it's Brockhampton level, so that's fair. I really like this cover though. Super cool with like the graffiti type on the wall, but it's like kind of I don't want to say cartoonish, but like it's not like a photograph.
It's
And
like
then
a
you got the
really
two
hard.
skaters.
It's hard to describe like the vibe it's given off here.
Yeah, it's an
Uh,
interesting vibe, but it came out during the come up of Joey Badass and Pro Era, and I think it kind of does have that vibe of that come up and that origin. And then, like you said, Survivor's Guilt talking back to Absol on the outro there, talking about his first encounters with Pro Era and skating and all that stuff, and you're like, okay, that kind of brought it
yeah.
full
See
circle for me. I was
that
like, all
kind
right,
of is what gave it a little boost there.
yeah, it's cool. And then it's
Health.
pretty interesting how the parental advisory is kind of like not like blurry, but like kind of faded. It's interesting.
It fits kind of like the vibe going on with the detail in the back there.
Next one, we got The Carter 3 by Lil Wayne.
I absolutely love this cover. I loved all the like what did he started doing? He did the Carter 3 and the Carter 4, maybe. Just where did he do the
Mm-hmm.
Carter 2 where it's his face with the
No, I think The Carter 2 was him adult version.
okay, yeah. So it's the this is the first one where they do where he's a baby and they just got the tattoo. I love it. I thought that was so cool. Like as a kid, even like with the going back to the Carter 3 and then kind of around the time the Carter 4 had released. So I love the little pinky ring. It's just I'd really love this
Uh-huh.
cover. I'd give this an S tier.
I'm fine with that because of how iconic it is. Like, I just have very strong memories of this cover. Like, it's probably the most iconic of any Lil Wayne cover, I would say. I love it. You got the, parental advisory is pretty big. The face tats.
Yeah,
I
this is
like the
before
type.
this is 2008. It's like face tats weren't, very prevalent then, of
Yeah,
course.
they're
So
definitely not prevalent. Yeah, it's cool. I'm fine with the S on it. It's very very classic. Next one, we got a new one. We got Louie by Kenny Beats.
I really like this one. Kind of, the same thing with the houses burning. Super, not simple, but I mean, same concept there with that. This is more like a painting. I feel like we're having a lot of A tiers, but I really like this one.
Yeah, this is A for sure, and like
I
teetering the line of S.
I I'd bump this to S
Okay, I like
because
it a lot. Like this is something you could see on a wall. Like this is art.
this just gives me like the vibes from it, just like sitting out back at Ma's house, like the big tree there and everything. Like that's kind of
Right.
what gave it that bump there, making the personal
And I
connection with
love
it.
like, yeah, obviously the personal, and you got who is assumed to be or supposed to be Kenny Beats and his dad sitting there on that bench, and so much is happening around them. Everybody's got the kind of like pink outline on them. I love that detail. The tree looks really cool. Just a great color palette on that cover. Love it. I think the Louis font is pretty cool.
Yeah, no,
Pretty
it's super
simple.
simple with that. And
I also think it's interesting how it's like the picture is smaller within the cover. And there's a lot of like white. Like it's not like that painting is the whole cover. It's just a piece of it.
yeah,
It's
and
interesting.
I feel like it's all done pretty well. Even like the Louis with the way it's the letters are. I feel like that brings it together even more. So
All right. I'm glad we got an S on that. That one's cool. Next one. This is one that is going to be a polarizing one. We got LeVon James by King Von.
this is one like I can't. I think someone had like posted on their story because obviously I heard of King Von and everything, and obviously don't really listen to him too much, like through to the O stuff like that, like his hits. But I never like taken the time to go fucking listen to LeVon James. When I saw this, I was like, "Is this real?" And
Yes, that was my reaction also.
yeah, I mean, this cover is tough as fuck.
This is straight out of the Gucci Mane school of cover art. This is
Yeah,
either really good or really bad, and I truly cannot decide which one. It's an S or a D. I don't know which one. It's an A or a D, probably.
yeah, I'd put it in A, honestly. I mean, just the powder toss with it. He's in a stadium. I love the detail of the 64th. We're not from 63rd.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't hate it. I
I'd
think
put
it's
it at
creative.
B. I think A is a bit much.
A is a bit much. I'm fine with B because this is kind of this episode's version of Megatron by Babytron. Like
Yeah.
it's a little bit of a joke, but also serious and creative. So yeah, I think that's fitting that Babytron was at B last time. And so I think
And
LeVon James deserves a B.
the way they incorporate their names as well is that's a nice touch
Mm-hmm.
there. So
Yeah, that's true. Those are like exact equals. That's fair. Next one. This is the first time a single has been included on our tier list, I think. It is called album artwork, whatever. Single artwork. Poland by Lil Yachty. How could we not have it? I obviously started off with just the map of Poland colored in purple. And then, thanks to Twitter, the beautiful people on Twitter made it known that it needed updated based on one user's artwork. And it is some people literally taking the walk to Poland. They're just crossing some treacherous waters with the walk in the boat. It's so hard.
no, it's tough as fuck. And I mean, just like getting it off Twitter as well, like giving that graphic designer his flowers. I think it's got to be S tier.
Okay, I was between A and S.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'd go A just because what do we have on S right now? The Carter 3,
And
and
Louis.
then yeah,
Okay.
like it's not on that level.
It's not. It's super cool, but the Carter is on there because of how iconic it is, and it is cool as well. And then Louis is like a piece of art. And this is a piece of art in its own way, obviously, but just a step below.
It's
I love it,
control.
but it's an A. Yeah,
Yeah,
I love it, but it's an A. Next one, we got EA Monster by Young Nudie. This is a super interesting cover. Love this project from Young Nudie. Love the color palette. You got obviously complementary colors, a lot of green with a little bit of red that really pops with this like monster with a whole bunch of stuff in its mouth. Like I don't even know what's in his mouth. Like he's like a gun that's colored gold, like a bunch of other stuff. Very unique cover. I'd definitely say it's at least a B.
yeah, I'd put it a B. It's just kind of giving me Baby on Baby 2 vibes. Like I feel like that's what's
I think
bringing
it's
it
more
down. But
creative.
no, it's
I,
definitely more.
I
No, it's just the green. I think that is giving me
It's
the
sad
green
because I can
monster.
see what you're saying, but like it's way more tastefully done and like
No,
artistic, and
that's
just
why
like
it's
it
not an S
looks
tier.
much better. Yeah, okay, I feel you. But yeah, I think it's a very interesting cover. Like I think Young Nudie has some interesting
There's a lot of
cover arts.
detail in it too.
But yeah, there's so much going on within that mouth. Like I can't even make out everything that's in there, but I really do like it. Just the colors, just the chaos. It's cool. All right, next one. Watching movies with the sound off, Mac Miller.
I really love this cover. I think it kind of like fits perfectly like with swimming, which up in the top right there. Not perfectly with it, but I mean similar vibes there and everything. Obviously with the parental advisory, that is like a very unique place to put it. Um, I'm curious to see where you have this one though.
It's an A or a B, I think. I like it. We haven't had any C's yet. Interesting. I'm just thinking that. I don't think this is the one to see. Um, I'd probably put it at B. I don't know. I like it, but I like others more.
Kind of like what brings it down a little bit with me is it doesn't really incorporate the name too well. Like I don't know.
So what letter would you put it at?
I'd go with B. I'd agree with you there.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's cool. I think the red is very vibrant. It's very, contrasting to Mac Miller's body and all that. The tattoos, yeah, that's interesting. The like
The
little doll
apple.
or whatever.
What's
Is
that? An
that
apple?
oh the apple on the table? Yeah. The little like doll as well, or whatever it is, hanging in the top right corner. That's interesting, as well as a little flower. I think it's cool. Uh yeah, like those are just little details that'd be so different without those. Like if it was just him with all
Yeah,
red, it'd be way different. I don't know. But
it'd be lower
yeah, it
for
is.
sure.
Yeah, I think like the little details bring it up a little bit, but just to be. All right, next one, new album, Soul sold separately, Freddie Gibbs.
This is tough. This is like a very good album cover. Um, I think was this one of the ones we said we're gonna save our thoughts on it?
I don't remember. I was trying to remember which ones we said about. I know Baby on Baby 2 is one, and this might have been one as well, because this is a fire cover.
No, this album cover is it's really it fits in perfectly, and obviously, little bunny ears and everything.
Oh yeah, you got Big Rabbit Freddy.
And then I just kind of what's going on in the background. I'd be an A or B tier here.
I think I would go A. I
Yeah,
like it
no,
a
I'm
little
alright.
bit better than some that we had in the B tier so far. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a step above Levon James.
It is artistically, but whatever. It's cool. I just love it. Like all the stuff falling from the sky, the spaceship type thing. It's cool, and that's like very bright color, and the rest is like pretty dark. Like a lot of shadows on the rabbit.
Yeah, I mean it fits perfectly.
Yeah, good album, good cover. All right, next one, an iconic one here. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy by Kanye West.
I love this one, and I every time I see like the without it blurred, like the actual image of it that he intended to release, it kind of throws me off. But I love like the blurred cover with it. I feel like that fits it so well. And then obviously there's the
Yeah,
variant covers and everything. Obviously super iconic. I just love the blurred image so much. I don't know.
how much you love it? What letter?
I'd put it S.
Okay, like this is one of the most iconic covers. I think it's just so crazy. Obviously, like you said, the unblurred version. When I see it, it's like it's almost new every time I see it. Like I'm so used to seeing the blurred version. When I see
Mhm.
the uncensored version, I'm like almost taken aback every time. It is kind of crazy. Like the unblurred version is
Is that
wild.
his beautiful dark twisted fantasy?
I'm saying like, and is it like it being blurred is kind of perfect? Like, is Kanye's Dark Twisted Fantasy not for everybody to see? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, that kind of makes sense because he was going through a lot now as well. But, but then as well,
Yeah.
obviously
See, now we just
not
get
loved in
black
the
album
public eye.
covers.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this was back when it was art. But yeah, I like you said, I'm glad you brought up the vinyl, like how you could change the different covers and how there are different covers out there. A lot of those are cool too. I don't know what letter I'm feeling for this one. It's an A or an S though,
I
just
think
because
it's
how
just
iconic.
super iconic. And then I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like I it just fits the album perfectly.
And I love the gold. Like the gold is a
Yeah, the little
great
gold
touch.
brim. Yeah.
Just yeah. So okay, we'll go S. Next one we got Life's a Trip. by Trippie Redd.
This is like super unique. There's so much going on. It's hard to look at just because there's so much shit. I like the album cover. Kind of gives me like Alice in Wonderland vibes.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't. It's not like my favorite cover ever, but it's really unique. A lot of time taken in, getting that album cover. I'll let you rank this one first, or see
I
where you're at
think
with it.
I'd put it as a B.
Yeah, I'm all right with that because it's just too much going on, but it's so unique at the same time.
It is like, I mean, you got like a Ben Franklin type thing. You got the grandfather clock type. Of all the faces, one of ones that sticks out to me the most is like the big one on the top left next to the all-seeing eye pyramid. It just gives me like Voldemort vibes.
And then there's like a pinhead next to it, pinhead vibes next to it.
The
Yeah,
unicorn. Like there's just so much going on. Like every time I look at it, I really do notice something new about it, which is cool. But there is just too much going on, I think. But I love the colors as well. Like a lot of blues, but then like the yellows really pop, like the sun or whatever that is, pops a lot, as well as like the red hair on Trippy Red, red orange,
yeah,
whatever you call it. That definitely
that's like the
pops.
biggest takeaway I always have from it is that yellow on the right, blue on the left, and then his red hair.
Mm-hmm. Cool cover, but chaotic to say the least. Next one. I was hanging out with my boy Mitchell earlier, telling him I was getting ready for the episode. Said, give me an album cover. Any album cover. We'll put it in the episode. Mitchell's not a Tyler the Creator fan by any stretch of the imagination, but he said Cherry Bomb, the old one, not the piss pants. He wants Tyler with the cherry bomb head, with cherry bomb around the head.
Yeah,
It's an interesting one. This is the cherry bomb cover that, like, you know, when I think of cherry bomb, I think of this cover. This is a B or a C though.
I'd say it's a C. I'd say set the music aside, set the nostalgia aside, and the cover itself, especially like with what he has now with Call Me Get Lost, Igor, covers like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially in his discography, this is a C.
Yeah, I think he has a lot better cover arts. Even before this, I think he has better cover arts with Wolf. I don't know. It's
This is
interesting. I
like,
think the like almost handwritten, almost gives me like comic book vibes with the way Cherry Bomb is written out. I like it, but it's just like I don't love it. The Cherry Bomb head is just it's cool. Something
this
about it. It's just whatever.
this cover. I don't know if like there's like he posted on social media or something, or if it was like a profile picture somewhere. This picture just screams Chalky Long to me.
Yes. Yes, it does. That's exactly the person I think of when I think of this cover. Yeah, that's all that needs to be said. And that's not a bad thing. Love
No,
Chalky.
no, like
He just texted me the other day and asked how the podcast was going. So shots to Chalky. Uh, but yeah, it's a cool cover, but a lot better out there.
we gotta have some C's. They all
I
can't
know
be.
we haven't had any yet, so I think this is a fine one to start the seas. I also think that the parental advisory thing is just weirdly big and like elongated almost.
Yeah, I see what you're saying with that.
Small detail, but I don't know. I think that could be done better. All right, next one. We got Vince Staples self-titled.
I really love this album cover. I mean, just how simple it is. It's just his face. And then I mean, even some detail in that with the with kind of like what they have going over his face, or I don't know what I would use to explain that.
Yeah,
That's
the
kind of like
texture.
a yeah. I mean, I don't think it's his best album cover, but I think it fits the music in the album perfectly.
Yeah, it's Vince Staples, self-titled. Makes sense that he's on the cover versus a project like Big Fish 3, where you have the fish on the cover. This is all about Vince Staples. So it's got to be him. It is cool the way it's cropped that it's so close to just his face. Like, interesting. Like, it's not his head, like a prima
Yeah,
donna. It
yeah,
is his
that's a,
face. The texturing is cool. I think it's a B, though. It's a B or a C.
I'd put it at B.
Okay, I think that's fair.
I think what kind of like bumps just a little lighting, like the bottom right corner, just the lighting change there. I think that's a good little detail that they have. So I mean that kind of bumps it up just a little bit, and then like you said, the texture. I feel like that's what makes it a B rather than it just being his face and being a C tier. So
Mm-hmm. That is a good point about the shadowing. That's cool. But the texture, I agree. That is, if it was just the face, I don't know how high you could get it. Like
Oh yeah.
color, obviously, if it was a color version, that'd be different too. But the way it is, B.
The black
So
and white with like the texturing and everything, that brings it all together even more.
100%. All right, next one. We got Few Good Things by Saba.
I don't know how I feel like it's every day I have a fucking different thought about this cover.
I
Like
agree.
sometimes I love it. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know. Is there like some connection with the guy on the cover? Is that like a family member or something like that?
I don't know, but it kind of feels like it's unspoken that that's the vibe, because that's kind of the vibe I get as well. But I've never heard
Mm.
one way or the other.
I
I
think
tried to Google it before this. I really did. And I didn't. Nothing was coming up. So if anybody's listening, let us know, because I don't know.
I think if you
It's
go
almost
like
like unsettling.
yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it, honest. I think that's my mood today. Is I especially comparing it to like an album cover like Care for Me or Bucket List Project. Like those are very good covers. Those are A-tier covers for me. I don't know. This one just doesn't get it done for me.
Yeah, I think I put it C. It's
I
cherry
think
bomb level, I think.
yeah, the flower I really like the flowers and the chain link fence in the back, but the guy there is just kind of that's what's unsettling to me. Who are you?
I don't know who he is. The look on his face is just interesting.
Yeah,
But the
is he
flowers, yeah, the
pissed?
flowers, without the flowers, it is D, no question. But the
I like the
flowers
little building
bring
in
it
the
up a little
back,
bit.
giving you
Mm-hmm.
Chicago vibes there.
Exactly. It feels like Chicago.
Feels
This
like my city for real.
just feels like a guy you could just see in Chicago, but like there could have been something better done with this album. But it's okay. It's not the worst, but it's just cherry bomb level for sure. All right. Next one, we got Come Over When You're Sober, Part One by Lil Peep.
I really love this cover. Um, I feel like it's just super iconic. You know, kind of we mentioned like the face tats in 2008 with Lil Wayne. Like this is you know just the tatted up body. You know, you see this, you're just gonna get like such a different vibe than I feel like the actual content of the album has. Then
Mm-hmm.
little bunny there as well, and then I love the little red lettering for "Come Over When You're Sober," and then
Mm-hmm.
obviously a peep there. Just I mean, he looks like halfway dead almost. I mean, like
He does. The detail that I was noticing upon revisiting it was the shoes. I never really noticed the pink Converse shoes in the top right. Obviously, the bunny and the wording and peep, those kind of get a lot of the attention. And so I really just like Converse just stuck out to me when I was like looking at the details. So I was thinking about where I put this.
and then obviously
I
like
think
his
it's cool.
tattoos.
Yeah, the tattoos are obviously like they add so much personality to the cover. They really do. Obviously, so much personality to Peep as well. It's a cool cover. I think it's probably maybe an A.
I'd have it low A or high B.
That's where I'm at.
I don't like the kind of what brings it up to me, and I feel like this, like both of both the come over when you're sober. It's like I feel like the content matter of him almost looking, you know, dead in the covers is just
Mm-hmm.
such a different vibe than he has like on an album like Hellboy. And I feel like it's less focused on you know overdosing and dying in Hellboy versus you know you get songs like Runaway, 16 Lines in part two, you know, The Bright Side in part one. So I mean that's like a good detail as well. I mean I don't know if that's if looking into it too hard or if they meant to do that, but
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I think it's fair. Yeah, I think it's cool. We're going A or B.
I'd have it low A.
Okay, I'm cool with that. Next one, new album just dropped. Had to include it. Midnights by Taylor Swift. The only non-rap one that's gonna be featured today, really. But you know, it's such a poppin' album right now. I want to see what your thoughts were on this one.
I really like it. You know, it's got like a little Polaroid feel to it. With that a little picture in the bottom there, and then it's like super simple. It doesn't do anything too crazy. But I feel like Taylor Swift's albums they don't have to do anything too crazy. You know, it's not like folklore level or anything like that. But
Mm-hmm.
uh, I think it gets just a point across. I'd put it like C or B.
Yeah, I was thinking C or B as well. I think the gradient with the word Midnights is cool. I think it's pretty interesting that it has the track list
Yeah, to the
on
left
the
there.
cover. That's interesting. And then they dropped the 3 a.m. version with like the bonus tracks, and then updated the cover for that version so that it has those tracks added as well. I think that's interesting. Like, I don't know. I don't know what it'd look like without the track list on it. I've never really seen one that has the track list on the front cover like that. Obviously, the back cover, that's very normal, but the front, that's pretty rare.
Yeah, the track list on the front, it's a good detail though. It kind of fits the vibe.
I kind of like it. Yeah. I think that gives it a B.
Yeah, I'd put it B.
And that was the last one. So end with a B there with Taylor Swift. Only 3 season D's. So I feel kind of bad that
We
that we
just
didn't.
pick, we just pick too good at covers, you know.
I know. I think we need to pick some bad covers next time. But I
We
love
didn't
getting
have.
to put some shine on some good ones as well.
Yeah, I feel like it's more for that versus, having fucking a bunch of baby on baby twos.
Yeah, we had to have one though. It
Yeah,
is
no,
fitting
that,
that that's our only D tier one though,
yeah, D tier.
because that is in a class of its own.
It is. I would have it at F personally. Like the more I think about it, the more the cover pisses me off.
No, I feel you, but like the track list thing, it only goes like S to D, so it'll be a D. Whatever. In our hearts, it's an F, and that's what matters.
Yeah,
All
exactly.
right. Just talked about Taylor Swift. Obviously, biggest drop of the week. But let's get into the other releases. We got Taylor Swift, as I mentioned, NBA Youngboy, Jeezy with DJ Drama, Armani Caesar, and Duckworth. And then we got singles from Smino, SSG Kobe, Post Malone, Lil Uzi Vert, Mike Dimes, Boldy James, No Worries, Femdot, and Pivot Gang. What have you listened to so far? What have your thoughts been?
I've heard like very good things about the Jeezy and DJ Drama project.
Mm-hmm.
So I skipped through that a little bit, skipped through the Taylor Swift project, and then the Smino single along with the Post Malone one as well. And then I need to listen to the Pivot Gang one.
Yeah,
Um,
I gotta listen to the Chicago guys, Pivot Gang, as well as Femdot. Smino was really good. Post Malone was like,
was that like the
I
the
don't know.
mashup?
I didn't need it. Yeah, I didn't need that version.
It and
Devin sent it to
it's
me because me and Devin are both Return of the Mac guys. Like I love Return of the Mac. Like that's one of
Devin's a
my
big
all-time
posty guy too.
classics. And he likes Post. He likes Return of the Mac. So he sent it to me, and I said I didn't need to hear that. And he just said
And it's
LMAO, and then we talked about it for a minute. Like it was okay. Like it wasn't as bad as I was thinking it was gonna be when I saw it existed, but I don't need it to exist. Mark
no, and
Morrison did it.
it's so corny that it's just off the fucking bar that he has too. Like I don't know. It's corny.
It's
That's
whatever.
that's what I'm gonna call it. It's corny.
That's fair.
Post Malone's a corny
Yeah,
dude.
your words, not mine. That's fair. Taylor Swift, though, I did listen to that a couple times so far. I've listened to it twice. I think it's all right. I don't really listen to Taylor too much. My thing every time I'm listening to music, I think is I like the songs, obviously worthy of a listen, but I just don't see a place for it to replace anything that I currently listen to. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I think that's a different vibe. I like for me personally, it kind of just they all sound somewhat similar. I don't know. Obviously, Taylor Swift's a legend. Got some crazy tracks out there and everything. Some classics. So I mean, obviously, anytime she puts out music, it's something to listen to, is for sure. So I just don't see a
Yeah, and
lot of them making my playlist.
I won't say they all sound the same even because there are so many kind of different vibes within what she's saying, but it's just kind of one thing to me. Like the album is a thing. Like I couldn't be like, oh yeah, that was my favorite. I'm gonna go back to that one. Like I just don't know. Like I need more time
That's
if I was gonna have a favorite one. I don't know. It was
that's
cool
also
though.
like I feel like with us being more rap focused, we don't dissect it as much. So that's kind of my
Oh
reason for
no.
what.
I
Yeah.
saw
So
some tweet. It was like Taylor Swift makes music for girls that got a 4 on the AP literature test and currently work in marketing. And I was like, you know what? That kind of makes sense. And that's not me. Marketing is, but AP literature, I'm not dissecting like that. Dissecting differently with rap, whatever, but not with Taylor Swift. She moves and she's just doing a lot, but very good for her. Good project, but
respect though, of course.
yeah, respect.
Taylor Swift's a
The one
legend.
thing, the one thing that stuck out to me the most, which is like, I don't know, kind of wild, was just she cussed at the most like awkward points. Like she just dropped like a fuck like every now and then. I was like, I don't like that. Like
Yeah,
you're saying we
she's
listen to
making
rap.
music for little girls, you know.
Yeah, like we're listening to stuff that we're saying way worse shit, but like hearing it come out of Taylor Swift's mouth, I'm like,
It doesn't fit.
I didn't like that. No. And there is obviously
She's
time
a
for it.
fucking
Obviously,
imposter.
she's an adult woman. She's gonna swear.
Yeah, no,
But
she's a.
but at some points it just like felt awkward. Like it felt forced. Like I saw some tweet, it was like, was there a swear quota she had to beat? And I was like, I'm glad that somebody else knows that too. And it wasn't me just being like, because I feel like I'm so desensitized to it in rap where like I don't even notice it most of the time. Like I don't think a thing when I hear, somebody say fuck 30 times on a
Yeah,
track. Like that doesn't mean a
that's just
thing
what we're
to me.
used to, you know.
Exactly. But when I hear Taylor Swift do it, I'm like,
It's like NF. If I heard NF
Taylor.
fucking cuss, I'd be like,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
It just
It was
doesn't
just
fit her
interesting.
vibe.
No, sometimes it does, but I thought a lot of times it was kind of it felt weird. But I thought this was overall a pretty good week for releases.
It's like
But I mean, if you think this is good, next week is going to be a movie. We just got the news right before this episode. Drake dropped the Jimmy Cooks music video. I was like, oh, cool. I'm going to watch that. I love Jimmy Cooks. Right in the middle of the video, stops it. Music switches up. Her Loss, a collab album from Drake and 21 Savage coming next Friday. Wow. What
this
a
is
shocking news. Obviously, it was kind of hinted out on Twitter. They were like, oh, it's coming. But getting the official announcement just hits different.
it does, you know, it's spooky season. We've speculated, you know, Scary Hours 3 is coming, but this is even better. 21
I
Savage on a
agree.
collab album with Drake. I'm super excited for this. And obviously they don't miss together. So I mean,
They don't. I have a hot take. Let's see your reaction. I think that this project will be better than What a Time to Be Alive.
yeah, nah. Nah.
We'll see.
I
We'll
can't.
see. But
Yeah,
that's
we'll see.
that's how I'm feeling.
I can't say that, like, can't say no, but I think it could be equal to What a Time to Be Alive. But being better, it is gonna have to be like, I don't know.
I have high hopes. That's
I
me
have high
saying
hopes
I
for
have
it.
very high hopes.
My high hopes is that it meets the same feeling that What a Time to Be Alive. Like,
That's fair. I do agree it will be hard to beat What a Time to Be Alive just because of like,
that's the
it,
pioneer for it.
I know, yeah, it really set the standard for Drake collab projects. But 21 is a vet in the collab project game. I have high
He
hopes.
is,
And those
yeah.
two
No,
together have been crazy.
no,
So, I mean,
I'm not saying it's not going to be fucking a great album, but we'll see.
yeah,
We'll see.
we'll see. We'll see next week. We'll see how that statement ages. But next week, we're also getting Bin Reaper 3 from Baby Tron,
Tron Wilkes Booth.
Smino, Tron Wilkes Booth. We're getting Love for Rent by Smino, as well as Hitler Wears Hermes 10 by West Side Gun. So it's going to be a really big week. I'm going to be a busy guy on Thursday night, Friday. Got a lot to listen to.
Definitely. What's getting your first play?
I was thinking that it's got to be
second
tough.
play?
Drake, it has to be the first, just because like that is one of those drops where Twitter is going to be live tweeting their thoughts and the bars, and Complex is dropping it, Genius is dropping
Academics
a
to be
line.
asleep on camera.
Exactly, it's going to be wild. And then I think I would have to go Smino, just because it's been a little while since Smino dropped a project, and I'm excited for that. Then I think I'm going Babytron, and then I think I'll go West Side Gun. But all four definitely get a listen.
No, they're gonna get listened to, of course. So I'm super excited though. Big week coming up. So
yes, sir. Another kind of light week for news, though, beyond the releases and the anticipation for next week. That's the biggest news. Is next week's gonna be crazy. Drake 21, but stick with a little Drake news here. Some of the South American Lollapalooza lineups got released with Drake as the headliner. This is big. Drake has not really been tied to Lollapalooza throughout the years. Kind of got me thinking, could we see Drake headline Lollapalooza in Chicago next summer?
I would love that. You know, Drake's on the list for me to see. You're kind of I've seen the big four already, or big three outside of him. Kendrick, J. Cole, Kanye. So it's just kind of waiting on that to happen. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's definitely going to happen. But my thing with that is he said he's bringing the OVO Fest to the States this year for the 10th anniversary. So maybe
Could
they
be
do
fire.
some sort of collaboration with that for Lollapalooza or something. I don't know.
Could be
Um,
cool.
Must see though for Drake, of course.
Must see. Let's talk hypotheticals. Drake, Lollapalooza, Chicago. How long would you wait at Drake's stage to be like very, very close? Or would you just be happy being there?
I would be happy being there. Like I was further back for Kendrick, and Kendrick it was really just a vibe back there.
That's interesting. I think I'd want to be like at least in the first 20 rows for Drake.
Yeah, I mean, I'd see both sides, but it just depends on like what the day lays out as. Because I'm not gonna miss someone just to be like that much closer.
I think I would. It would depend on the day. It would depend on the day. But there are only a handful of people that I would have to see to keep me from being like very, very close for Drizzy.
Mhm.
Like I want to be there at a Drizzy show close. And Lollapalooza, I've been saying this, like it is the perfect place to see people for like fairly cheap. Like I saw the weekend from like, whatever the 10th row, and it's like $130 or whatever. Versus when you go to like his individual show, you're dropping $300,
Yeah,
whatever, for a spot like that. So same thing with Drake. Like this would be a perfect opportunity. Like if you wanted to be right up there, this is the perfect place to do it. If it happens. Obviously, there's a lot of speculation, but I think we'd have to be there. You'd have to be
no,
making your
of
first trip to
course,
Lala.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It would be fire.
Drake is must see.
Gotta see Drizzy. Next news here. Talked about it throughout the episode. Taylor Swift Midnights. When I saw the number that was projected for her first week sales, my jaw dropped. Taylor Swift's Midnights is projected to sell 1.1 to 1.2 million units first week.
I kind of put an asterisk next to it because so there's they're doing like they're doing physical vinyls in store, stuff
Yeah.
like that. They have
Yep.
exclusives, lavender
Bundles and
print.
stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't it just came up on my TikTok. Some guy was like buying it for his girlfriend, and it was just full of like the vinyls and everything. And then like exclusive prints, like I said, with that and with so many different versions and everything, that's gonna amount up. So it is an insane number, but with them having like the physical sale or physical vinyls in store, that helps out.
Oh, it definitely helps out, but I don't think it
And
discredits it in any way
no,
just because,
no,
like, that's so many. Like,
yeah,
even if people are buying multiple, like, you
the
have
Swifties go
dedicated,
nuts
obviously, the
too.
Swifties are deep. Yeah. You have dedicated fans, but like, talk about M's. That is crazy. Just compared to some of the numbers that we talk about, like, with lower numbers, with smaller rappers, obviously. But even Kendrick was like in the 300,000s, I think, first week. So, whew, crazy.
I'd love to see that number with physicals in store though. That's just
That is fair.
it's so different now. Like with that, it's just I kind of wish they would have all of it ready, but obviously no, that's not very realistic in this day and age with the amount of changes that are made to albums.
Yeah, it's fair, but crazy. Mind blowing stat. And like I said, light week. Let's end it with this piece of news. Instagram is rumored to be working on adding a feature that allows users to set a profile song. Kind of reminds me back of MySpace. I was not on MySpace, but I had some friends that were on. Remember, they come over, play some games, get on MySpace on my home computer. Didn't have MySpace though. Was started on Facebook, then didn't go back to MySpace because it was kind of dead by that time. And I know you definitely weren't on MySpace because you were
Yeah,
like
you set up my Facebook
3
account.
years old. Yeah. I set up your Facebook account.
You and Lauren did, yeah.
Fire. Um, had to get you right.
Yeah.
But brings me to the question: what would your profile song be
It'd be a
if
day
and
to
when
day
Instagram
thing.
has it?
I'd update that day to day. It'd have to be like a mood. If I was going off a mood right now, though, I'm still stuck on Final Fantasy by Lil Uzi. Ever since
Okay,
Rolling
that's
Loud,
fire.
it's just been so in the rotation. Probably be my pick right now.
I agree that I would be just switching it up like I would say at least 3 times a week. If like it was something I thought about, and if it was like something that people were like actually looking to. I don't know what it would be right now. I think it might be like Gasoline by The Weeknd, Angels by A$AP Rocky. That's just like a random song I listened to a lot recently. I think it'd be one of those two. It
And
just
it
depends.
I feel like with mine, I wouldn't necessarily go to a song that's newly released every time. I'd want, a deep cut, like something fucking.
Yeah, we'd definitely be switching up. Hopefully it does come out. The interesting one will be, what's the Second Avenue podcast song?
Yeah,
I think it has to be Family Ties to start at least.
yeah, definitely. So we forgot to add this in. Last little piece of news. Lil Baby, 210,000 units. That is nuts. That's the one that the Taylor Swift was a huge number, but this one I was like, holy fuck. I ain't know Baby had it
Yeah,
like that.
I didn't either. It's kind of crazy. It just kind of cements Lil Baby as, kind of like one of the very big leaders of the next generation of rap. Like he continues to do big numbers, continues to put out great music. So shout out to Lil
Yeah.
Baby.
I I was having a conversation with Johnny Carnahan. I was like, I think Baby or Dirk, like that's who I would say is like the head of this next wave. So
That's a conversation for another episode. I don't know.
ultimately, I think Keem is going to be the biggest, the superstar
That's what
out
I
of
was
all
gonna
this.
say.
That would be my pick for that. But I'm talking, like this trap scene.
That's fair. But yeah, I think it depends because we'll set the stage right now, but I'll close it by saying I think it depends on where you draw the line. Because if you say the previous ones were Cole, Kendrick, Drake, and then even Kanye as the Mount Rushmore of that generation, it's got to be Tyler and Travis leading this
Yeah,
generation.
Cardi's in there
So,
somewhere as well.
yeah. So a lot of contenders, but those are almost like OGs at some point to the
Yeah,
Babies, to the Keems. So tough, different levels to it, but we can get into that deeper on another episode. The last thing I got to say, though, forgot to mention it in the releases because it's not really a new release, but Too Late to Die Young by Sonder, Brent Faiyaz Group EP released. Came out a while ago on YouTube, but finally on streaming services. So if you're a fan of Brent, having given Sonder a listen, go check that out because it is great.
that about wraps it up. I didn't mention it, I mean, if you are one of the YouTube viewers, finally got my wall right. It's been fucking just torn down for like a month. I was waiting for my It's Almost Dry vinyl to come in. So we are back up and running.
Fire. I told Elijah this. I'll tell you guys. I told him to leave a spot because on his birthday, we got one coming.
I got one coming too. I don't think I got the Kendrick Lamar, the Good Kid Mad City, the variant cover.
Oh, that one's fire.
The black one that I sent you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fire. But yeah, like Elijah said, December's gonna be a big month. His birthday, all that. Maybe I'll have to get him to open the vinyl on the podcast. We'll see. If not, maybe I'll take a video of it and we'll insert it. But I think he'll like it. So it'll be cool. But
Yeah.
we'll be back next week. We're getting close to Halloween. So you know what that means. Next week, another tier list. Rapper Halloween costumes tier list. This is going to be a banger. Obviously, some people do it better than others. Some people pull out the killer fits.
I think of one artist in mind, man.
I think of two. We'll get into it. We'll get into it next week. I don't want to ruin it. But we'll be back next week. It's going to be a banger. If you're on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, all that. If you're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, give us a like, share us on Instagram. We appreciate everything. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.